Sam,
What?
I gotta tell you something. There was one other kid that told me to cash out of the Caleb bet.
You texted me that.
He was at Square Grouper with Tommy and I. He's like, bro, cash out. It's terrible. It's terrible. He was drunk. I'm like, dude, there's no fucking reason to. And then he texted me during the Notre Dame game. He goes, please tell me you didn't listen to me.
You didn't. I remember the
like,
text you sent me. You were like at a bar with where is it? You're like at a bar with an old friend. He told me to cash out, but I'm not a beta.
but I'm.
Oh yeah,
I'm
here it is. Saw a good buddy of mine at a bar last night.
Yeah.
Had some spirited conversation about my Caleb Heisman future.
There we go.
Cash out. I asked him why he's a beta.
I owe Caleb like 1,000 beers. It's not even funny.
Are you guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ready to rumble.
All right. I've got my Caleb Oklahoma jersey on from DH Gate.
Oh, there we go.
Hello and welcome to the Boys Upstairs show. This is the Week 13 NFL show.
Woo!
Hey-o.
All right. So small barn today, intimate barn, but spirited and highly anticipated and very ready to go barn. So first game on the slate, good matchup here between the Cleveland Browns, who are 4-7, and just getting Deshaun Watson back, quarterback for this game, first game in 2 years, obviously, against his former team, the Houston Texans, who are the worst team in the NFL, 1-9-1. Total's 47.5. It's in Houston. We'll go ahead and throw it to Jake here. Game one on the slate. Go ahead.
Can Sam go first instead? I'm very uncomfortable with this game.
Talk about it. We'll just get the elephant in the room out of the way. So
all right, give me the Texans.
All right, so yeah.
They're at home. It's their Super Bowl. Their season's over either way, so they're gonna give it all they got. By the way, he hasn't played in his last game that he played was
end of 2020 season.
End of 2020 season. So
we're nearing the end of the 2022 season.
It was January of 2021, I think, was like the week 17 game. I mean, preseason, he looked shaky. They can probably just run Nick Chubb like crazy and not even put the game in his hands. But I feel like, there's 230 million reasons why they want to prove to the city of Cleveland that he's still a capable player. So I expect him to have a nice set of passes that they're going to give him where he can look good. They'll probably win the game, but it's just a really uncomfortable situation. And I think it'll be a close game. Cleveland will probably win, but give me Texans +7.
Okay. All right. This let's not act like this is just a crazy game or anything. It's not like a guy who hasn't played in 2 years who happened to get accused of 27 or however many heinous crimes is coming back to play. It's not like something like that's happening. You take a guy out of his craft for that long, I don't care. It's kind of like taking Gordon Ramsay out of the kitchen for 2 years and you bring him back 2 years later and say, put a filet mignon on the pan right now. It's not going to be as good as the one from January 2021. It's just not. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how great you are. I don't care what you've done. It's not going to be as good. Okay. The Texans are going to be motivated. This is their Super Bowl, as Jake said. You were right about that. But Deshaun's going to have some rust. This isn't going to be some kind of shootout game. Deshaun Watson isn't God coming in here. The Browns are not good. They do not have a great offense. They beat the Buccaneers, but the Buccaneers suck too. So I'm going to take the under here. I think 47.5 is people putting money in on the over thinking Deshaun Watson's going to come in and have a career game when he's just not. I think whoever the hell starts at quarterback, I don't know if it's going to be Davis Mills or Kyle Allen or whoever the fuck, but I think they will kind of establish the run game, keep it slow on the offensive side, try to keep Deshaun Watson off the field, try to keep him guessing a little bit. And so, yeah, I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I don't really know who's going to come out on top. But if I was a betting man, I would take the Texans' money line, too.
2021. Texans Titans. It was the game that Derrick Henry ran for over 200 and he cracked 2,000 yards. and Deshaun was 28 of 39 for 365 and 3 touchdowns in that game. But he has not taken a snap in an NFL game since, other than the preseason, which is the preseason.
You see, that's a perfect filet mignon. Okay, that's a perfect filet mignon.
All right, so Jake, do you have the score of that game?
Yeah, the Titans won 41-38 on a field goal at the buzzer.
All right, so obviously that's a close game, shootout game. But my point, the Texans that year won 4 games.
Yes.
So his most recent sample size, like Sam said, like Gordon Ramsay, he's good at what he does. Obviously, in that game, he played very well. And I think that season he led the NFL, or was top 2 in like passing yards, touchdowns, completions, everything. But they were still really bad. This Browns team is a better roster, but he has zero chemistry with them. And it's going to take time. And I think this game is Texans money line. It just seems like a game the Texans are going to win outright. I think it's going to be in a lot of people's parlays. I think a lot of people are going to have the Browns. I don't know what the numbers are, but the public is all over the Browns, I'm assuming. So give me the Texans. Give me the points. I don't want them, though. I'll just take a money line if I could. Also, taking the under. I think the Browns are going to score very few points. And I think the Texans are going to score very few points. So under and Texans.
I feel like what's not getting talked about enough is going to be his chemistry with the team. Even if he has been working on his craft outside, like with trainers or whatever, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, the rules of the suspension, he couldn't have no contact with the team. He couldn't practice with the team. So this team has spent 12, 13 weeks getting used to Jacoby Brissett, creating chemistry with Jacoby Brissett. For him to just come in, they're going to get like a week of practice. He was 1 for 5 with 7 yards, a 39.6 passer rating in the preseason. So it's going to be off. I mean, you see that every year with the quarterbacks, the couple quarterbacks that switch teams. It takes about a month at least to gain chemistry with your receivers, unless you're Russell Wilson, then you're still looking for your chemistry with your receivers 13 weeks into the season. But I just feel like it doesn't matter who starts for Texas, the quarterback. They both kind of do the same thing. They can get it enough done. Brandon Cooks is having a great year despite a terrible quarterback situation. Dameon Pierce, they can just do what the Browns are going to do with Chubb with Dameon Pierce. Just give him 45 carries after the first quarter. And I think it's going to be the under Texans +7. I just don't think that there's going to be any chemistry, and Deshaun Watson is not going to be ready to get back into the NFL.
Now we can get back to regular football games. So Dolphins, very hot. 8-0 with Tua playing, starting the whole game, finishing the whole game. They're 8-3 overall. Traveling to San Francisco, 49ers, 7-4, -3.5. Total is 46.5. Shout out the Dolphins fans on the show, making us put this game on the slate and then not showing up for the show.
All right, Cam isn't a Dolphins fan, and neither is Postman. I mean,
Hey, well,
Postman's been a Dolphins fan for the last 3 months, and then that's about it. Nevertheless, I will continue here. I'm also going underdog spread in the under here. Give me Dolphins +3.5, under 46.5. This Niners defense that we're seeing is amazing, especially in the second half. I don't think they've given up a point in the second half past 3 or 4 games. Might be wrong on that, but it's something like that.
Since week 8.
Since week 8?
They haven't allowed a second half point since week 8.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't expect them to keep up that kind of production, especially against a high-powered offense like the Dolphins. And I think the Dolphins have the weapons on that offense to kind of beat out what San Francisco is doing, especially if Tua can get the ball out quick to his speedy receivers who can just run through anyone. Not saying this is going to be a shootout game, but they're just going to have to score more points. Simple football. You got to score more points than the other team. But yeah, I mean, this is a hard one to convince myself on because on paper, it's a pretty even matchup, and San Francisco has been playing great lately. But as I've said all season, I've never really been bought in on them.
I am anti-Dolphins. I just don't think they're as good as their record is, but maybe I'm wrong, and they are. And this game will be a good way to gauge that. But 3.5 is, as I've said a billion times, the worst number you could see. So because of that, I'm going with the Dolphins. I just think that it's going to be a close game, and I think that the Dolphins are good enough to make this a 3-point game. 3.5, like it's at 49ers. It's in San Francisco, so could be.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's in San Francisco.
Is it prime time?
I believe it's 4:25, 4:05. So, so it'll be on TV. It's going to be one to watch, but I think that it will be a 3-point game, potentially less. Give me the Dolphins, and I'm going to take the over as well. 46.5 seems low for this game, so I think points will be scored. 2 high-powered offenses, a lot of weapons on the field. Give me the over. Give me the Dolphins.
Have the Dolphins played a defense even close to as good as the Niners this year?
Bears.
Steelers.
Well, they played Pittsburgh with no TJ Watt.
That's true.
So that's why with Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, the pass rush they're going to face is clearly the best they've played so far. If you look at their win streak, Texans, Browns with Jacoby Brissett, Lions, Bears, none of those wins really impress me. I feel like San Francisco, I said it when we were in studio for the show last week, Tommy. If I were to power rank NFC teams right now, I would put the Niners first. They have all pros at every position on offense, except quarterback, and that's their biggest question, obviously. And then on defense, they have Fred Warner and Nick Bosa. They are stacked just about everywhere. And I feel like, East Coast team flying west, 5.5 hour flight, don't really love to see that when you're thinking about picking a gambling number. I like the Niners. I like the over as well, because I know that Mike McDaniel wants to get a win against Kyle Shanahan, and he'll have a good play, and so he'll have a good game plan. But I think that the Niners just have too much talent. So give me the Niners and the over as well.
I hate to say this. I am anti-Dolphins, but I am taking them to cover the spread. I do not think they will win this game, but I do think they will cover the spread. I feel like besides the Chiefs, Miami, unfortunately, might have one of the highest powered offenses in the league, not because of Tua, just for all the Tua meat writers. He can't throw the ball, but their weapons are amazing. So I feel like the only other time we've seen the 49ers play an electric offense like this was the Chiefs when they got blown out. I don't think it'll be a blowout, but I think that the 49ers are edge out a close one, but enough for the Dolphins to cover the spread. They do have all pros at every position, and their one question, the quarterback over his last 4 games has thrown 7 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, and I believe they're 4 wins in a row, or maybe they won 3 out of 4, one of the two. But I
Dolphins or Niners?
The Niners.
Yeah, they were 4-4, now they're 7-4, so it's 3 in a row.
Yeah, 3 in a row. He's thrown 7 touchdowns, no picks in his last 4 games. So I think it's gonna be a high scoring game, but I just feel like San Francisco has a great defense. It's a little banged up. I just feel like McDaniel, he's hungry to get this win against Shanahan. And Tua is unfortunately like 10-0 or whatever, and he's playing great over his last couple games, whatever. Fuck the Dolphins. But I just think it's going to be less than whatever, 3.5, 2.5, but I still think the 49ers pull out a win.
Correction, Niners have won 4 in a row. I was
that's what I thought.
All right. Game 3 on the slate here. This is also not prime time. This is 4:25, 4:05 start.
They gave an ESPN analyst a primetime game. When you have this game, the Niners game, the Eagles are playing the Titans, which is also a very good game. And we're not talking about that. This is ridiculous how they got Colts, Cowboys. Scott, I love you, buddy. I love you. But are you kidding me?
Are we surprised that the Cowboys, whatever the Cowboys are doing this week, that was going to be primetime? Cowboys
Jones, dude,
last week, and Colts for primetime last week. Whatever.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So game 3 on the slate here. 9-2 Chiefs in the upper echelon, top 3, top 2 of the NFL. Traveling to Cincinnati. Bengals are 7-4, sitting in second place in the division right now. Total's 52.5.
Every chance I've gotten on this show so far this year, I think I've taken the Chiefs, and it's been working out good for me for all the reasons I've said. Their offense is just too good. It doesn't matter who they lose or without Tyreek Hill, and they just have another guy who wears number 10 and is small and plays like Tyreek Hill. So that works out in their favor. I don't think the Bengals are bad at all. I think the Bengals are pretty good. But the thing about them is when they're on offense, if you take away Joe Mixon and Jamar Chase, they look awful. If you watch all the games that they've played this year, when Joe Mixon and Jamar Chase are going, they look unstoppable. But if the defense can block out those two guys, even one of them sometimes, things get really tough and Joe Burrow starts having to make decisions on the run a little bit more, which he has a little trouble doing sometimes. And that's not taking anything away from him. But it's just that, T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, who are good receivers, it's not the weapon of Jamar Chase or the connection to Jamar Chase that Joe Burrow has. And that's not a very convincing point to go with the Chiefs here. But at the same time, the Chiefs have shown me week in, week out this year that they're far better than any other team they play. Besides the Tennessee Titans, who they should have lost to if it wasn't for a complete ref job. But I think the Chiefs are going to win this game pretty comfortably. pretty comfortably. If I'm right, the over is around like 50, right? The total.
52.5.
Yeah, I don't like over unders in the 50s, so I'm gonna stay away from that. But I'm just gonna go Chiefs minus 2.5.
I'm going to join Sam and take the Chiefs minus 2.5. I just don't know if you can beat Andy Reid and Mahomes for a third straight time. They beat him twice last year. They're going to beat him again this year. And Coby, correct me if I'm wrong, but when it was Brady and Belichick and Mahomes' first year, I know they beat him twice, but I think they lost to them the following year. So if Brady and Belichick couldn't beat him for 3 straight times, I don't know if Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow is awesome, but I do think that the Chiefs offense is hitting on all cylinders right now. I'm going to take the Chiefs and I'm going to take the under because I've seen a lot of totals this year in the 50s, and I love offense, I love points, I love overs, and I've taken a few overs. But for some reason, a lot of primetime games, and I know this isn't prime time, but it's the game of the weekend. A lot of primetime games have been going under this year. So give me the Chiefs, give me the under. I think that Andy Reid and Mahomes go into Cincy and get it done.
The Chiefs are on a 5-game win streak. I don't see that ending. And they did beat the Chiefs twice last year, like Jake said. But I feel like last year they had like this momentum, like this magic going on. Like, oh my
Magic.
God, Joe Shiesty, Joe Burr, oh my God, Jamar Chase. Like they just had like this momentum going for them that just carried them to the Super Bowl. I don't think they have that this year. They've faced adversity. They've struggled this year. So I don't think they're the same Bengals they were last year. And like, let's analyze their defense. Amazing run defense, no corners. The Chiefs run the ball like 3 times a quarter. This is going to be an absolute Eli Apple is reading the back of every receiver's jersey number. He's memorizing their numbers because he's getting burnt by so much. I think Mahomes is absolutely going to tear up the secondary. This god-awful secondary. They never run the ball. That's the Bengals' one strong suit. And I don't think the Bengals have that momentum that they had last year, all that hype that like pushed them. I think they're a different team. I am going to take the over. I know it's a 50s over, but I just feel like these teams are gonna score like a lot. Like it's gonna be a high scoring game.
All right, so I take notes every week on all the games that we do. Try to bring stats, try to bring good takes to the show. This week, my notes for this game were just easy Chiefs. But because all 3 of you just went Chiefs, I'm now going Bengals, flipping to Bengals. I think that this could be a 1-point game. I agree with everything that you guys were saying about the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game. I think they're going to win this game potentially 21-20, something like that, maybe 24-23. Look for that score to potentially hit correct score. That'd be plus a lot of money. So maybe look to date that. But I'm going just Bengals here, not going to touch the total. Don't like the total in the 52s. So give me the Bengals.
You're the king of like dropping like in the group chat like a plus 25,000 parlay and being like free money.
Well, I will say like I think it was week 11 that I hit. So I went 10 straight weeks of donating money to FanDuel. And then week 11, I hit my parlay that was like 6 legs, which I did send to the group chat that week. So if any of you guys took it, which no one did, then you would have won money. But
You lost 9 previous ones.
yeah, well, true. But that means I was due. And now I'm hot. Like I actually have only lost like 1 bet since then. So feeling pretty good. But either way, best part of the show here, locks of the week. This is where I have been making people money. I am 10-2 now on my locks. So you might want to pay attention here. But we'll go ahead and throw it to Coby. I think Coby went last except every game except the last one. So Coby, you can go ahead and give your lock first.
Yeah, so I feel really bad because Scott isn't here. He can't defend himself, but I am taking the Colts plus 11. 11 is a big number.
No.
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
Okay, the Colts in their last 5 games have only lost by over 11 once, and it was that game against New England when Sam Ehlinger started and New England had like 27 sacks in the first half. That's the only game they've lost by more than a 1-possession game. They've lost by 1 twice. They won by 5, and they lost by a touchdown. I don't think they're going to win this game, but 11 is a lot of points against the Cowboys. I think that they're not better with Jeff Saturday, but like they seem like they almost have a new life again. Like they basically like quit their season. They were like, fuck it, start Ehlinger. Like we'll pick some dude up on the street, he can play running back. Like fuck it. But now I feel like they have like this new. They're trying again. They have like this new spark in them. Saturday's fighting to keep a job for another year. I think Matt Ryan has seen about 1,500 memes on his Twitter about how bad he is. He probably wants to show something. So I think that they will lose by less than 11. I'm not saying they will win this game, but 11 is a lot of points. One thing I've learned from this year is that a touchdown or more is a lot of points. Even like 6 or more is a lot of points. And Tommy makes a great point right there. Matt Ryan has had a very tough season, but again, I do not think they're gonna win. They are just gonna beat the 11-point spread. They've only lost by that more than once against New England's defense. New England has an amazing defense, and they had a great game that game. And Sam Ellinger was starting, so that changes a lot. So I think that they'll hit the 11 points spread. I'm sorry, Scott, if you're watching this. I saw that and I was like, there's no way they lose by more than 11.
Cobe, one thing that you may not have realized though. Colts played Monday night. They're on a short week. Dallas played Thanksgiving. They're on 10 days of rest. They're at home. That should concern you. I'm not telling you to change your pick. I'm just saying might want to realize that if you didn't already. If you already realized that, hey, I don't care about the extra rest. Give me the ESPN analyst, then more power to you, buddy. I just want you to be aware of what you're facing here.
I think I saw that, but I mean that it's the NFL. That happens about a couple times a year. Like there are teams that play short weeks, there are teams that play long weeks. I mean, is it a little concerning? Yes, but is it enough to make me think they're going to lose by more than 11? Not exactly. I mean, it's the NFL. That happens. You play short weeks, you play long weeks, you have a bye week. You play like it happens. So I think that it's not going to make too much of a difference. I mean, the Colts are ass regardless. I mean, but to lose by 11, that's a lot of points in a spread. I feel like that's another Vegas set this up for them to lose by 11. It's just like the Chiefs Colts when everyone was like, oh my God, 5 points or whatever, 6 points. That's a give me, and then it's not a give me.
I have a lock, and I might be cheating here, Tommy. You can tell me if I'm not allowed to take this, because it's minus 3,000 on FanDuel right now, and it is Caleb Williams to win the Heisman Trophy. Guys, we've said it all year. Just bet $20, win 12 cents. It's worth it. It's worth every penny. Okay. In all seriousness, do you think Mike White is going to go into Minnesota and cover? Are you kidding me?
I knew this.
Are you kidding? Listen, I have done very poorly on my locks this year, but I guarantee I'm 99% certain the only ones I won have been Minnesota. So I'm sticking with what works with the team with the second best record in the NFL. Here's the deal. Mike White went crazy last year. His first game he started, he threw for over 400 yards and the Jets won. Then the next full game he played, he threw 4 picks. Guys, okay, listen. Everyone loves Mike White. He's better than Zach Wilson. Everyone's saying he probably is. I don't trust him to do that 2 weeks in a row against a good team. Come on, guys. Everyone should know that. Minnesota. That's it. That's it.
I'm going to start by saying, what can't Tom Brady do? He can win MVPs.
Sustain a marriage. Sorry.
You cut off my entire shit
Forgive
there.
me, Jesus. I'm sorry about that.
All right. There's 2 things Tom Brady can't do. One is sustain a marriage, and the next is score points against the New Orleans Saints. And there is one thing that the New Orleans Saints can't do, and it is score points in general, unless they're playing against the Las Vegas Raiders. So it took me a while to scroll through, and I was thinking, there's not really a lock on the slate. But then I found Monday night, and it's Saints Buccaneers. And we are in week 13 right now? This is when the division unders start to fire up. The under last night in Bills Patriots, the Packers Bears under is going to hit this week. The divisional games, the Commanders Giants, although that might be like a 10-point game, like total. But back to what I was saying, okay? It's Saints Buccaneers. Tom Brady has never been able to do well against the Saints. They're the Grim Reaper for him. For some reason, I'm looking at the game sheet from last year when they lost 9-0, and Dennis Allen was coaching that game as the head coach. Tom Brady went 26 for 48 with 214 yards and one interception. Mike Evans was held to 1 reception for 14 yards. Marshawn Lattimore is Mike Evans' Grim Reaper. And the total for this game is, I believe, it's set at 40.5. Neither of these teams are going to get even close to.
That's a high total.
That's a high total for these 2 teams, considering last year when if the total was 9.5, it would not have covered. So I'm going with the under in this game. I think this might be the most confident lock I've had yet, because it's simple. Every time these teams play each other, no one scores. Tom Brady can't do it. I think they played earlier this year. I think did the Saints beat them earlier this year?
No, Tampa won. That was the game when Lattimore and Mike Evans got into a fight.
All right, so yeah, watch out for that. Both of them might get ejected again, and that makes things really interesting. But I'd be shocked if either team gets into the 20s in this game.
I'll go next here. Quick little outfit change.
If that's a Mike White jersey, I swear to God. Oh, okay, good.
If I had a Mike White jersey, I would put on.
He's probably the most popular athlete in New York right now.
Probably.
Taking the city over.
So
who do they play?
I took this team as my lock last week, and it hit.
Oh,
Obviously,
God.
I'm taking this team as my lock again this week in a pick 'em, and they will win again. Obviously, Commanders are playing the New York Giants this week. Commanders are -1 to pick 'em, which
It's
means
actually a really important game for both teams.
it's really important. Game. So right now, all 4 teams, the NFC East, are in playoff picture. This game is going to be extremely important tiebreaker later in the year. This is literally just who wants it more, who's the better team.
Lock the cage.
Lock the cage. One team comes out. All the implications are there. And I just believe in the Commanders. I think that this team wants it more. And the Giants are going like this. The Commanders are going like this. Like, it's really that simple. And they're going to – and I think the Commanders are going to come out on top. Saquon's only had 60 yards in his last 2 games. And the Commanders are one of the best teams against the run in the NFL. So I think this is going to be a Commanders victory. It's going to be tight. This is probably going to be an under game as well. Could take an under as the lock of the week here too. But give me the Commanders -1. I think that's the best bet on the board.
If you would have told me a Commanders Giants game in December would matter, I would have laughed in your face. But here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
A weird year. But week 13, crazy. It's already week 13. Thank you guys for being here. Let's enjoy some football this week. A lot of important divisional games, a lot of important matchups. So should be a good one. Like and subscribe.